After I won $1 billion jackpot, I learned Megan was diagnosed with cancer. I was both heartbroken and relieved, knowing I had endless money to pay for her treatment and she could definitely be cured. Just as I was about to tell her about my winnings, she pulled Leo in front of me. Daniel, Leo is still so young and we are not exactly wealthy. Let's not pursue treatment. I was moved to tears. No, we have to treat it, no matter the cost. Megan's expression immediately soured, and she slapped me hard across the face. Do you have any conscience? Isn't it enough for you to die? Do you want to drag Leo and me down with you? How did I ever end up with a monster like you? Although I didn't know where the misunderstanding came from, it made me see the truth of the situation. With tears still on my face, I suddenly started to laugh. Fine. No more treatment. After winning $1 billion jackpot, I was ecstatic and I immediately quit my job by telling my boss off. I just wanted to travel the world with my family, enjoying life to the fullest. To my surprise, my joy turned to sorrow when I received health checkup results from the medical center. I had cancer, a particularly debilitating form of stomach cancer. I screamed to the sky in despair, "God, I don't want this money. Can you take the cancer back too?" After I screamed, a thought suddenly struck me. I didn't actually have cancer, it was Megan who had it. When filling out the health checkup form, I had switched Megan's phone number with mine. I didn't bother to correct it, thinking it was too much trouble. Now what? How was I supposed to tell Megan that she had stomach cancer? My heart only settled a little when I remembered my $1 billion jackpot. I had endless money to pay for her treatment, and she could definitely be cured. I researched extensively and found that with early treatment, cancer often had a hopeful prognosis. To keep Megan from falling into despair, I decided to keep this fact from her for now. When I got home, I deliberately said in a dejected tone, "Megan, I got laid off. I'm unemployed." I expected Megan to be understanding and comforting, but instead, she flew into a rage. "How can you be so useless? Now you don't even have a job. What are we going to do? Do you have any idea that our family relies entirely on that meager salary? You are unemployed, so we'll starve, won't we?" Megan's eyes were wide, her face flushed red as she yelled at me. "Can't you be more responsible? Why did the company lay you off, and not others? It's because you are useless." She pointed her finger at my nose and cursed. I quietly endured it, while still thinking about how to get her the best treatment. I wanted to tell her directly that I had won $1 billion jackpot, and that we would never have to worry about money again. But then I thought better of it. It would be even more crushing to find out you were sick after getting rich. "Megan, I used to earn quite a bit. We should have some savings, right?" Savings? What savings? With the mortgage, car payments, and raising kids, how much do you think is left? Megan said dismissively. "Then let's sell the beach house and pay off the mortgage first." No way. That house is for Leo's future marriage. We absolutely cannot sell it. If things get really bad, we can borrow a little from our parents. I'll pay it back as soon as I find a job. Megan was an only child, and her family was quite wealthy. I always treated her parents like my own and showed them great respect. Daniel, are you trying to mooch off our parents and live off your wife? Absolutely not. Give up on that idea. With that, she turned and left to play poker. Megan hadn't worked since Leo was born. Her biggest hobby was playing poker. I did all the housework after getting off work. She was my queen. Serving her was my biggest responsibility. My heart ached for her having cancer, so after picking Leo up from school, I purposely bought a lot of her favorite foods. I prepared a huge feast of lobster, abalone, and crab, just hoping she would enjoy her meal. To my surprise, when she saw it, she flew into a rage. "Daniel, are you insane? You don't even have a job anymore, and you are being so extravagant and wasteful. Are we just throwing our lives away? Do you want us all to die once the money runs out? You worthless bum who can't even earn a dime, and you still expect good food. How dare you be so shameless?" Stop yelling and eat, Mom. It'll get cold if we don't eat soon. In the end, Leo came to my rescue. After dinner, she was called away again. Seeing that she had forgotten her coat, I rushed after her, only to accidentally overhear her on the phone. Honey, my worthless loser of a husband got laid off. I want to divorce him quickly so we can be together openly and legitimately. He's completely helpless. I'll definitely find a way to force him to leave with nothing. Don't worry, I can easily handle him. I just need to find the right opportunity. I stumbled back inside, unable to listen anymore. Not only was Megan cheating on me, but she was also conspiring with her lover to take my assets. Since she was so heartless, I wouldn't be merciful either. I no longer felt sorry for her cancer, I only wanted to find out how much of my assets she had transferred. In the middle of the night, I finally got hold of her phone. But the phone kept showing a wrong passcode error. Ever since we got married, our passcodes were our wedding anniversary. It hadn't changed in 7 years, so why was it wrong now? I tried every passcode she might use, my birthday, her birthday, Leo's birthday, even Robert and Susan's birthdays, but all resulted in errors. The more errors I got, the more certain I became that she was hiding something. Finally, I risked using her fingerprint to unlock the phone. Sure enough, I found the man named Blake, her first love, our next-door neighbor Blake. They always met up to play poker. I had told her a few times to be mindful of appearances, but she always called me narrow-minded. She said if something was going on between them, they would have been together already, and I wouldn't have been in the picture. I knew that Blake's family hadn't approved of Megan back then, forcing them to break up, and she had married me out of necessity. So I was truly good to her, wanting to compensate her for not being able to marry for love, but she didn't cherish it. She actually got back together with the very person who had abandoned her. Their chat logs were sickening to read. They called each other husband and wife. There were also numerous transfer records, with Blake sending Megan symbolic small amounts, like codes for "I love you" or "forever." Meanwhile, she was sending Blake sums in the tens of thousands. Watching my hard-earned money being sent to her old flame, my heart bled. The house Blake lived in was also bought by Megan, very close to my home, presumably for convenience for their affair. My efforts felt utterly worthless. For years, I handed over my entire salary, and lived frugally just to give her a better life. She always complained that money wasn't enough, but it all went to next-door Blake. Indeed, you really can't spoil women. I used my phone to take photos and screen recordings, saving all these records to use as evidence later. I quietly put the phone back. Looking at the woman I once loved so dearly, my heart grew cold. The next morning, I woke up but didn't get up to make breakfast like I usually did. Megan got up and started to grumble and curse. "You are getting more useless by the day. You can't earn money, and you don't even make breakfast anymore. Are you trying to rebel?" She had a bad influence on Leo too. "Dad is really too much. He won't make breakfast. Do you want me to go to school hungry? Don't call that worthless piece of trash Dad. He doesn't deserve it. He's nowhere near as good as Uncle. He's good for nothing but meddling. Mom, just let Uncle be my dad. Keep your voice down, Leo. When is ready, we'll leave this worthless loser. Come on, let's go eat out." I was trembling with rage. Megan's betrayal was one thing, but how could Leo say such things about me? Not only did neither of them ask why I hadn't gotten up, but they insulted me like this behind my back. I had been truly good to Megan. What she said went in our house. If she so much as mentioned a stomachache, I'd get up in the middle of the night to make her hot tea with ginger. If she said she was hungry, I'd run for miles to get her favorite late-night takeout. She bought clothes and shoes worth thousands of dollars, while I always wore my work clothes. I saved wherever I could, never wasted a single penny. Every day after work, I'd buy groceries, cook meals, and serve them both. I also spent time with Leo every day, helping him with his homework, encouraging him to exercise, and making sure he ate less junk food. I never imagined these would become their reasons to despise me. I started researching the divorce process. Since she wanted a divorce, so be it. I had $1 billion jackpot. What did I have to fear? I had encountered two of the great joys for a man my age, becoming incredibly wealthy and getting out of a bad marriage. Any other man would be figuring out how to get rid of his wife, and I had even felt sorry for her illness before this since she didn't appreciate my kindness. Then I'd let her run to her love. However, I had to have Leo. For his sake, I could compromise on the assets. After all, I was a man worth hundreds of billions. I wouldn't argue with her over mere peanuts. Money emboldened me. Suddenly, I felt that divorce wasn't such a big deal after all. So I sent her the evidence I had, said, "Let's get a divorce," then turned off my phone and went to sleep. I was shaken awake by her. Her eyes bloodshot. She held my phone's message screen and asked, "Daniel, you have stomach cancer. Why didn't you tell me?" She had seen the health checkup results. I was a little moved. After all, we had been married for years, and even without love, there was still family affection. She still cared about me, and it must have been hard for her to learn I had stomach cancer. "Why didn't you tell me you had a terminal illness? And you even want a divorce? Divorce has nothing to do with cancer, aren't you? With Blake now, what else could I do but divorce? I lines grant your wish with a divorce. You two can be together openly and legitimately." Her expression flickered as she said, "You've misunderstood, we were just old classmates. Those things were just jokes, you have to believe me." I was a bit confused. Hadn't she just said on the phone that she wanted to divorce me quickly and marry next door Blake? Could it be that knowing I had cancer, she saw the error of her ways and was preparing to stay and support me through treatment? Don't overthink it. That money was all a loan from him. I even have promissory notes. See, she actually pulled out promissory notes to show me. We just poker buddies, we like to joke around, but we truly haven't crossed any lines. Besides, you are sick. I have to stay with you until the very end." I watched her performance, wondering how much sincerity was in it. I'm afraid I'll be a burden to you and Leo. This illness is incredibly expensive." Just as I was about to tell her I had won the jackpot, she pulled Leo in front of me. "Daniel, Leo is still so young, and we are not exactly wealthy. Let's not pursue treatment." I was moved to tears. "No, Megan, we have to treat it. No matter the cost." Megan's expression immediately soured, and she slapped me hard across the face. "Do you have any conscience? Isn't it enough for you to die? Do you want to drag Leo and me down with you? How could I have been so blind as to choose a monster like you?" I was stunned and disoriented from the blow, and I asked in surprise, "Megan, what's wrong? You don't want me to get treatment?" Megan immediately defended herself. "No, I just don't want your hard-earned money to go completely to waste. Cancer really can't be cured. So you've decided not to treat my illness, right?" I asked, still unwilling to give up. "Don't say that. What if we leave the money to Leo and I stay with you to spend your last days together?" "Fine, whatever you say." My heart went completely cold towards her. Was money truly more important than a human life? Hearing me say that, she relaxed and then pulled me to make a bucket list. She said she would accompany me to places I'd never been to see the most beautiful scenery. The last item on the list was to leave all the money to Leo and transfer all the properties to his name. "Daniel, we must cherish every remaining day of our lives to fulfill our final wishes." "All right, I'll go anywhere you want." I knew she wasn't really interested in traveling. She just wanted to watch my illness progress to the point of being incurable. And the places she picked, not just high plateaus or mountains, but even the north and south. They were all places unsuitable for human habitation, let alone a sick person. She truly wished I would die quickly. Even now, I couldn't believe it. Was this farce real? Could a husband and wife really want each other dead, all for money? "Megan, how much money do we have left? Is there enough for all these trips?" I asked, testing her. "Don't worry about money, Daniel. There'll definitely be enough for our travels." Then, she pulled out a will that listed all our assets. "Daniel, since all our assets are going to Leo anyway, let's sign it before you go." Watching her systematically scheming against me, my heart died. Suddenly, she seemed terrifying. Wasn't this just preying on the dying's assets in real life? If I truly had cancer, then everything I had worked for my entire life would be completely taken by her schemes. She hadn't even thought about leaving a single penny for my parents. Megan, shouldn't we leave something for my parents? I'm their only son. No. Leo is too young to live without money. Your parents have their pensions, they don't need this money. She flatly refused, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Then at least leave me money to buy a burial plot. Burial plots aren't cheap. No need, Daniel. A person dies and becomes just a handful of dust. Scatter it in the ocean, let it drift with the currents. How nice would that be? No, Megan, I'm afraid of water. Please choose a good burial plot for me. I kindly reminded her, as you don't get many chances to pick your own burial plot. She shook her head firmly. Looking at her unrepentant look, I finally made up my mind. Megan, let's sign the divorce agreement in advance too, to avoid any property disputes later. She looked at me in surprise, quickly pulled out the divorce agreement she had already prepared, and signed it quickly. I didn't look at any other clauses. When I saw that Leo's custody was listed as joint, I finally felt relieved. After signing, I said to her, slowly and clearly, remember, this was your choice, not to treat. Then, no more treatment. Megan froze for a moment, not understanding why I said that. But she would understand soon enough. 3 days later, we smoothly received our divorce certificate, and she immediately registered her marriage with Blake. She was holding Blake's arm, smiling sweetly. Blake, with his big mouth, taunted me. Buddy, thanks for your selfless contribution. I'll take everything. From today on, I'll be living in your house, sleeping with your wife, and spending your money. Looking at his smug face, I took Megan's health report from my bag, and threw it down in front of them. They looked at me in confusion, then burst out laughing. Who are you trying to fool with a fake report? That's so childish. Don't bother wasting your effort. We've already got the divorce certificate, we are nothing to each other anymore. Blake didn't forget to add, twisting the knife. Actually, we've been together for a long time. You are just too much of an idiot to know. Haha. I looked at her as if she were an idiot, but Megan was still acting arrogantly. You were so generous to give me all the assets. Do you regret it? Because I won't give you a single penny back. Just wait to die from your illness, big fool. I couldn't help but question Megan. No matter what, I am Leo's biological father. Do you really wish for my death so much? Blake laughed when he heard that. Leo's biological father? Take a look in the mirror. Do you think you could have a son that handsome? I froze. No way. The son I had raised with so much care wasn't mine, either. You guessed right, Leo isn't yours back then. I just found you to be my sucker. I felt as if struck by lightning. Leo wasn't mine either. So my marriage these past years had been nothing but a joke. I have to thank you. You were so selfless, raising my wife and son so well. Blake taunted me smugly. Looking at their ugly expressions, I finally couldn't help but remind them. Megan, open your eyes and take a good look. This isn't a fake medical report, it's real. She looked at the health report in disbelief, and after examining it repeatedly, she smiled smugly again. You are truly laughable. Seeing how happy I am, you regret it, don't you? So you remaking this fake thing to scare me? Her imagination was truly wild. She thought I was playing games with her. This one is real. I advise you to go to the hospital quickly. Maybe it can still be treated. I wish you three a happy and fulfilling life, locked together for all eternity. After saying that, I turned to leave, but she grabbed me by the arm. Daniel, explain what's going on. When we went for our health checkup before, I switched our phone numbers, so they sent the results to the wrong number. She looked at me in disbelief, and Blake's face also changed. So I don't have cancer. You are the one who actually has cancer, stomach cancer. Go to the hospital and get treatment quickly. The reason I left all the money to you was to pay for your treatment. After she read the health report again, she started hitting me like a madwoman. You are talking nonsense. You must be trying to trick me. I'm not sick, you are sick. You are sick. Considering her condition, I ignored her and turned to leave. Blake shouted in despair from behind me. Daniel, you despicable. Why didn't you say something earlier? You waited until we registered to tell us. You ruined me. I smiled. I did it on purpose. You wanted to flaunt your happiness in front of me, then let us see if you, too, can face adversity together. First, from behind me, I heard Megan's cries and shouts. Blake, stop. What do you mean? Are you just going to abandon me? I ignored their fighting among themselves and strode confidently toward my new life. I smoothly received my billion-dollar jackpot. After taxes, my account had countless zeros. The number often made me wake from a dream with the urge to recount the zeros. I went to the bank, withdrew 10 million in cash, spread it out on my bed, and slept cuddling the money. Then, with that 10 million, I paid cash for a flashy Porsche. Driving my Porsche, I bought my parents the mansion and a V they had long yearned for. I also paid another 10 million for my parents to join a senior tour group so they could travel wherever they pleased. I bought 3 prime retail properties in a prime commercial district, and even a cruise ship to take beautiful women on cruises. I even invested 10 million directly into John's company, telling him we'd treat each other as friends from then on. The rest of the money I put in the bank, knowing I could just live off the interest. Sleeping in my large house surrounded by the sea on 3 sides, I enjoyed the ultimate joy that money brought me. One day, as I was leisurely enjoying a gourmet meal by a private chef, Megan's parents arrived with her and knelt before me. Susan, who had always been so haughty, had her eyes red from crying. Daniel, you have to save Megan. She really does have stomach cancer. I took a bite of my dessert and smiled, looking at them. Wasn't it a bit too late for regrets now? You can't be heartless. Don't abandon her just because she's sick. Me, heartless? She was the one who cheated first with Blake. You should go find Blake to take care of her. I reminded them. Daniel, Megan was wrong. She was also tricked by Blake. He's not a real man at all. That bastard Blake, as soon as he saw Megan was really sick, ran off long ago and refused to take responsibility. What a coincidence. A trashy woman met a trashy man. Aunt, we are already divorced. If doesn't take responsibility, it is not my problem. We never agreed to the divorce. It doesn't count. You have to take care of her. The shameless family left me speechless. A divorce is a divorce. Your approval isn't needed. All that matters is what the law recognizes. Megan cried tearfully to me. Daniel, I was wrong. Please forgive me this one time. I promise I'll be a good wife to you from now on. I'll never yell at you again. I'll cook for you every day and take care of your parents with you, okay? Looking at her humble appearance, I smiled. So she had always known those things she did were wrong. No need. You can leave. There's no us anymore. Susan slapped Megan on the head and said, frustrated with her lack of improvement. Son-in-law, she used to act all arrogant and not uphold her wifely duties, but she won't anymore. Please forgive her. It seemed her whole family knew about her and Blake. I was the last one to find out. But even Leo isn't mine. How can I forgive her? Am I supposed to be raising kids for someone else? Megan hastily grabbed me, trying to defend herself. No. I told him Leo was his, but honestly, I don't actually know whose son he is, yours or his. Yes, Leo might not be Blake's. He could very well be yours. It doesn't matter whose son Leo is. He chose to stay with his mother. Robert also chimed in. Megan was wrong before, but please forgive her this one time, given that she's dying. She's getting sicker and sicker. Take her to the hospital quickly to get checked out. No matter what, this illness has to be cured. No matter the cost, we have to treat it. Megan looked at me, crying. Daniel, I don't want to die. Please take me to get treatment. Seeing her double standards, I was speechless. I remembered what she said when she thought I had cancer. So I pulled out a recording that I had edited and played it for them. Daniel, Leo is still so young, and we are not exactly wealthy. Let's not pursue treatment. No. Megan, we have to treat it. No matter the cost. Do you have any conscience? Isn't it enough for you to die? Do you want to drag Leo and me down with you? Megan, what's wrong? You don't want me to get treatment. No, I just don't want your hard-earned money to go completely to waste. Cancer really can't be cured. So you've decided not to treat my illness, right? Don't say that. What if we leave the money to Leo and I stay with you to spend your last days together? Fine, whatever you say. Remember, this was your choice, not to treat. Then, no more treatment. After listening to the recording, they all lowered their heads in shame. Back then, she thought I was the one who was sick, and she decided not to treat it. But when it's herself, it's different. I gave her a chance. This was her own decision. I have no right to change it. With that, I showed them out. Not everything comes with an opportunity for regret. I sold the house and moved. From then on, they were completely out of my life. I hired professional managers. Not only did I renovate those 3 prime retail properties, but I also started operating them. One sold gold, another imported foods, and the third was a new energy vehicle dealership. Soon, all 3 stores not only recouped the investment, but also generated significant income for me every month. I was young, handsome, wealthy, and had a successful career, becoming an eligible bachelor everyone envied. Many people tried to set me up with girlfriends, all beautiful, wealthy women. But I politely declined them all. One heartbreak was enough. Now that I had money and free time, why would I need a woman to boss me around? Isn't living by myself great? I traveled all over the world, bought properties, and purchased prime real estate. I even followed the trend and built a doomsday bunker. Now I wasn't afraid even of a third world war. I drank the strongest drinks, took the wildest rides, and dated the most beautiful women. Until one day, Megan and Leo blocked me at the entrance of my new home. I was startled by the emaciated Megan. After 6 months, she looked nothing like she had at the time of our divorce. Her face was sallow, and she looked utterly haggard. She directly pulled Leo down to kneel before me. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I've been punished, Daniel. I'm dying. Seeing her like that, I felt terrible. But I was not a god who could control life and death. But is innocent. He shouldn't pay for my mistakes. Looking at Leo's disheveled appearance, my heart ached. He had never suffered like this before. Before, I raised him to be plump and healthy, never letting him suffer even the slightest grievance. In just 6 months, he had gone from being a handsome young boy everyone praised to looking like a little beggar. Leo also cried and said to me, "Dad, I was wrong. Please don't abandon me. Mommy's sick, and we have nowhere to go." I choked up. Yes, even if adults make 1,000 mistakes, a child is still innocent. Dad, I want to live with you. Mommy's sick, and no one takes care of me. Everyone bullies me. Dad, I'm so hungry. We haven't eaten for 3 days. Can you cook for me? Looking at the pitiful mother and son, my heart softened. Even a beggar deserves a bite to eat. I brought them into my large mansion, and had the chef prepare a table full of delicious dishes for them. Watching them devour their food, I then had someone take them to take a bath and change their clothes. Seeing refreshed appearance, my heart felt a little better. Leo then obediently stood before me. Dad, is this your new home? It's so big. Can I live here? Leo, go watch TV for a bit. I need to talk to your mom. After a maid led Leo away, I looked at the sickly Megan and spoke. To be honest, whose son is Leo? She flinched, then looked up at me and said, I don't know whose he is either, but you two are the only men I've been with. Blake denies he's his. He says he's not his, so that automatically means he's mine. How can you be sure he's mine? Tears streamed down her face as she looked at me pitifully. Daniel, I don't want to lie to you. I truly can't be sure he's yours. I was surprised by her honesty. The illness seemed to have changed her greatly. Please, will you take a paternity test? I have to confirm Leo's parentage before I die. It doesn't matter if I die, but Leo is still young. He needs someone to take care of him so he can grow up properly. It turned out that even the most vicious woman plans for her child. After speaking, she knelt and kowtowed to me again and again until her forehead bled. Suddenly, Leo rushed out and hugged her, crying, Mommy, don't do this. If I'm not Dad's son, I'll go to an orphanage. I'll listen to you, and definitely grow up well. Mommy, please don't worry. Megan held Leo and burst into loud sobs. It's all Mommy's fault for making you an unwanted child. Mommy is so sorry. My eyes also welled up watching them, and I helped Megan and Leo up. I agree to a paternity test. They looked at me in astonishment, unable to believe their ears. You two rest here for now. I'll go arrange the paternity test. With that, I walked out. I didn't know how to face them. Even if Leo wasn't my son, I couldn't bring myself to kick them out. 3 days later, I took Leo to get the paternity test. I also arranged for Megan to be admitted to the hospital. After all, I couldn't just watch her die in front of me. While waiting for the paternity test results, Megan fell into critical condition. At her bedside, she handed me a key. Daniel, Blake tricked me out of all my money. This is the only house I have left. If he's not your son, will you please give this house to him for me? Looking at her on her last breath, my heart softened. Okay, I promise. Don't worry and focus on your treatment. After paying enough hospital bills for her and hiring a caregiver, I left the hospital. Arriving at the entrance of the paternity center, I stood there for a long time without going in. I wanted to know the results, yet I was afraid to know them. I was conflicted. Finally, I went in. The moment I saw the results, I burst into tears. 7 years of marriage had still given me a glimmer of warmth. Leo was my biological son. Pushing open the door, I saw Leo looking at me in alarm, as if afraid I would kick him out at any moment. Leo, you are my biological son. Will you live with Dad from now on? I expected him to be overjoyed, but to my surprise, he said to me, his eyes red, Dad, please save Mommy. I don't want Mommy to die. My son, Leo, had finally grown up after enduring a life of hardship with his mommy. I nodded heavily, pulled him into my arms, just like when he was little. I hired a private detective to find Blake, and after giving him a good beating, I got everything back for Megan. Then I sent Megan to the best hospital for heavy iron therapy. Leo and I lived happily together. He visited his mommy every day. Life continued, regardless of whether God's given experiences were sweet or sour. We just needed to live each day with a clear conscience.